Hi, my name is Marissa, and today I'm going to be talking about the documentary Alive Inside and the connection it has to occupational therapy. Alive Inside, directed by Michael Rosato Bennett, follows Dan Cohen on his journey to bring music to nursing homes. Dan Cohen was a former social worker who started to volunteer at nursing homes, and he was met with horror. Many of the residents of the nursing homes didn't interact or react with anything. They were shells of themselves. A prime example of this was John, a dementia patient who, according to his nurse, just kind of existed. John had been through a lot. He was drafted, and during his service, he received treatment for radiation poisoning that caused him to lose all of his hair. Additionally, he lost his ear in the service. He had definitely lived a life. When Dan gave John an iPod with music from his youth, he became alive with energy. He danced, he sang, he was so happy he started to cry. It was really amazing to see the joy light up this face of a man who previously didn't really interact and was kind of blank. He became a whole different person. He was lively, he was excited, and although he was in a wheelchair, he practically jumped out of his seat. His tears almost brought me to tears as he exclaimed, "I'm just a guy," he didn't know what was happening, and it really awakened him. And I think this really solidified Dan Cohen's mission of awakening all these patients with dementia, Alzheimer's, bipolar schizophrenia, and showing them what they had. Dan Cohen's idea of bringing music to people with aging-associated diseases like dementia or Alzheimer's is a great example of a holistic and natural healing approach. Throughout the movie, they discussed how significant the regression of symptoms were when listening to music compared to the traditional medicinal route. This is because, many times, the amount of drugs given to people in nursing homes can suppress them, but music creates a spontaneity, fun, and choice, which awakens many people. For OT, knowing the positive effect that music can create allows us to utilize it further. In Alive Inside, it was used for mostly geriatrics, but I think it could also be expanded to pediatrics and more generally in mental health settings. In the next few minutes, I'm going to discuss exactly how we can use music with geriatrics, pediatrics, and mental health. For patients with Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, or someone who has just suffered a stroke, music, and more specifically dance, can help facilitate movement. For patients who suffer from tremors or are having trouble mobilizing, dance will help build up joint stability, muscle endurance, hand-eye coordination, bilateral integration, balance, postural stability, and so much more. All of these body functions will allow them to move more fluid when walking, and they'll be able to walk for longer distances. The graph in front of you is from the American Physical Therapy Association, and it's from a study they've done where they measured Parkinson's symptoms in patients with Parkinson's using the UPDRS, which is a scale of measurement for Parkinson's symptoms, and they measured symptoms before dancing and after dancing. As you can see, things like their rigidity decreased, their gait and posture increased, and their tremors at rest decreased. Overall, they had a better UPDRS score after dancing than before. Music is a great way for physical involvement with your patient, but it's also a great way to connect with your patient and learn more about their past. Asking them about their favorite music from their time can work on their memory and also help you to learn more about them. For kids, music is a great outlet to focus on direction following, attention span, sequencing, and much more. Many children's songs have directions in the lyrics, like head, shoulders, knees, and toes, if you're happy and you know it. To work on direction following, sequencing, and attention span all at once, the therapist can sing a head, shoulders, knees, and toes song and make it longer to work on attention span, or shorter, depending. This song also works on sequencing because the child is trying to follow the steps in order while following the directions. You can also work on visual attention and many visual processing skills with cue cards like shown. If the therapist is singing head, shoulders, knees, and toes, for every aspect of head, shoulders, knees, and toes, like the head part, the shoulders, the knees, you would hold up a cue card that shows a child touching their head or their shoulders. And so that visual cue works on visual discrimination and visual attention all at once. These skills will help a child in school when they have to follow directions given by teachers, and they'll be able to do it in a timely manner with sequencing. Other songs also work on bilateral integration, crossing the midline, and depending on the activity and song, you can incorporate dance to work on these functions. Using music will help the exercise become more fun and will increase the child's motivation. Kind of a segue into my next section of mental health, I'm going to talk about how pediatric OTs can help children with autism with sensory regulation using music. So I just discussed how upbeat music and loud, fun music like head, shoulders, knees, and toes, and if you're happy and you know it, can work on bilateral integration, attention span, visual cues. But for children who may have issues with loud music, bright colors, bright lights, it can become very overwhelming. And so there's kind of a different avenue you can take for sensory regulation for children with autism or who might become hyper-responsive to stimuli. Music, if used correctly, can have a very calming effect. Slow, rhythmic music, like classical music or lullabies like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, can help calm down a children's nervous system. And paired with things like dry brushing or playing with fidget toys or being in a room like this sensory room shown, can help calm down a child's nervous system and reduce hyperactivity or agitation. It can also be paired with some deep breathing and relaxation to work on coping skills. If the child is getting really overwhelmed in school and they don't know what to do, maybe you can pair deep breathing with the rhythm of a song. And so when they're overwhelmed, they can go back to their deep breathing and relaxation to calm down their nervous system. OTs working in a mental health setting can use music for emotional regulation and temperament. Many people who suffer from depression, anxiety, PTSD have tons of emotions swimming around and they don't always know how to express them. Music is complex and it spans many, many different emotions in one song. For clients, it could be a cathartic experience to listen and allow themselves to feel the emotions that are being represented in the song. Dancing and moving to the beat can also give people a free feeling and confidence boost that therapists can channel into their important occupations and goals. The infographic I have shown goes through 4 main ways that dancing and music can help benefit your mental health. As I just discussed, dance can help with mood boosts, confidence, the social aspect, and also a physical health and fitness aspect. When you're dancing, again, like I said, it's a very freeing experience, and depending on the song, you could gain a huge confidence boost. Obviously, not if you're listening to something sad, but if you're listening to an upbeat, fun song, you're going to feel more confident. And of course, there's a social aspect of it if you're going to a dance class, but also if you're just dancing in your kitchen with your friends or your family. And of course, physical health and fitness. The more you're dancing, the more you're moving, the more healthy and fit you're becoming. And studies show that the more you move around, the happier you are. You release serotonin, and it helps decrease those symptoms of depression, anxiety, or PTSD. And then that confidence and that happiness you feel can be channeled into your goals and what you want to work on with your therapist. In this video, I discussed how occupational therapists can use music to help better facilitate occupational performance in their patients. I focused not only on geriatrics, but also pediatrics and a more broad span of mental health in general. Alive Inside was a great documentary to watch to help me draw out ideas of how music can better facilitate occupational performance. It was really inspiring to see how Dan Cohen connected with all the Alzheimer's and dementia and nursing home patients in different ways through their music. Thanks again for watching my video, and I hope you enjoyed my ideas on how music can help better facilitate occupational performance.